Pass, Al Jefferson, and gets the Triplets their first bucket today.
Brandon Rush has a little bit about it. Yeah, he can walk Pargo down to the block. Tough customer. Oh, nice crossover. Tough customer, but he doesn't want to be down there.
Greg Oden with the slam. Rush.
Great crossover, set that up. Oden paid it off with a very nice finish.
Pargo swings it out. Joe Johnson, the touch for Jefferson. Nice fake. And Oden's there for the rebound.
And once again, you saw Al likes to start off all of his moves with that jump hook. Had a chance to play with him a year, and Charlotte played against him many years.
First team to commit 6 fouls. Played 3 NBA seasons. He's going to come on for the first time. So the Aliens with Owens the captain, Rush and Oden. Pargo guarding Owens. Rush to the spot.
That's what he does.
Buries the trifecta.
Injuries obviously derailed his career. I think some people said that Oden was a bust, but that's so unfair. A bust is somebody that can't play. Somebody that's injured is just unfortunate, but unfortunate for whoever's on the wrong side of that dunk right there. Oden finished it with some power.
He has still got it and some. And you saw the chest bump from Captain Andre Owens. Owens visited Oden in Ohio before the Big 3 to make sure he was game ready. And boy, at least so far, is he ever.
Yeah, and he has a nice mismatch down here with the strength. And that is what he can do all day. There is nothing Johnson can do inside.
This guy should have at some point. Joe Johnson over Oden. A little slap on the wrist.
Oh.
Johnson takes Rush off the dribble and
Rush.
Slams it down.
Wait a minute. I didn't know Johnson had all that in his bag now.
Here he is against Johnson. Will fire. And the rebound to Joe Johnson. So Johnson with the ball. Step back jumper. Got it.
And that's what it all is for Joe. It's all about pace. If you see, you can never speed him up. He's never in a hurry. He just finds his spot, and then he has all the tricks. He has the fadeaways, the step backs. He's a big, strong guard, so he uses his body as well.
Brown to the basket. Here's Joe Johnson. Second opportunity. Teardrop goes down.
He threw that up to the ceiling. Go get that one, Ryan Hollins. And once again, Joe Johnson's game is not based on athleticism. It is all based on incredible skill. Every time I watched Joe Johnson play, I was always amazed that there was no weakness in his game. He went left, he went right, he could shoot it from deep, the mid-range, had floaters, everything. He did it all.
17 NBA seasons as Hollins can't hit. Rush, another opportunity. Off his back foot. Another chance for the Aliens. Hollins is going up. And again, meticulously crafted roster by Tiny Archibald and Captain Andre Owens. You bring a guy like Hollins in with Oden. Joe Johnson to the left.
Oh my goodness. The spin cycle, the B button.
Johnson to Johnson.
Physicality inside, no call.
Owens sizing it up, hits the 3. Andre Owens puts the us to the break.
Big 3 right there, just stepped right into it. Just obviously wasn't close enough to defend it. Here's where Joe gives you a problem.
Drop step, finishes, and the foul. That drop from 3.
That's a foul right there. How about to say?
And they agree with you.
Yeah.
Only guy with Big 3 experience. Last year with the killer threes, almost 11 points per game in about 14 minutes per contest. Ed Cohen, Brendan Haywood, Brandon Tierney, our entire CBS crew from Indianapolis as Andre Owens sticks the 3. And the Aliens are within 1 of getting it to halftime.
But you see the little mean mug after the shot? Looking at Mr.
Anderson wants it wide open. And a good find. Can't finish. Jefferson, yes.
That whole play will start with Joe Johnson, though. The players got to do the rest.
Johnson looking down low. Jefferson camped out. He scores. Owens, the aliens out there. Hollins
Hollins
is to the
break. Hey, he said he's more than just a screen setter. I see you, Ryan, with the bucket right there.
26-20. Tiny Archibald's aliens with the lead over the Triplets.
You keep giving those guys shots, they will knock them down.
Now the first half double-double for Joe Johnson, and they doubled him quite a bit. Mentioned how physical it was.
Hello.
That's a good start.
In this basketball family, when you're in the NBA, you're part of a basketball family.
Now I know you're waiting for Game 3 of this triple header. Not that Games 1 and 2 are insignificant, but your guy for the Hogs, Deshaun Stevenson, won a championship with Dallas.
That's like my brother right there. Deshaun Stevenson, we were together with the Wizards, able to win a championship in Dallas, so I can't wait to see him on this court do his thing.
2-point game. Oden against Jefferson. Almost. Trying to beat the shot clock that time. Jefferson steps out and drills the three. And the Triplets have the lead.
That's a little something new. I didn't know Al had that in his game. I know normally from around 15 to 17 feet, he's pretty good with the mid-range jumper, but out to the three-point line, oh, watch out, Pargo. Wait a minute. Oh.
Andre Owens nearly got it to go.
Wait a minute, Gennaro.
And Joe Johnson more conventional. It's a 4-point lead.
Man, it must be slippery out there. Pick up Pargo's ankles.
They will send BT out there as Rush answers with the trifecta.
For 3.
That quiets a 10-0 run for the Triplets. Rush, veteran. Here's Owens to the basket. Andre Owens gives the aliens the lead again.
Speaking of playing hard, I love the fact that Owen walks it like he talks. He's talked about playing hard at halftime, and when you see him out there, every time he gets the ball, he's trying to attack the basket. He's willing to make those extra hard-nosed plays, and he made one of them right there.
Games in the NBA, Andre Owens, Joe Johnson, nicely done over Rush.
And this is smart basketball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Force them to double. There's nobody out there that can stop Joe Johnson. They just don't have anybody that can guard him. He's too big, too strong, too versatile.
But certainly in the big three, and we're seeing that here in this first game. I hope he doesn't take issue with us when this is all said and done. Brandon Rush off the mark, and there's Joe Johnson. He'll step out and nails it. It's a 20-point game thus far for Joe Johnson.
Those are the difference in the game. That's the difference between winning and losing. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of great one-on-one plays and crossovers and layups and things of that nature. But how many steals, how many blocks can you get? How many rebounds, offensive rebounds can you get? Those are the winning plays that always decide basketball games. No different here.
Lisa Leslie's team, as Pargo misses a three, has outscored the Aliens 17-7 since halftime. Lisa Leslie, 8-time WNBA All-Star, as Rush gets to the basket and scores.
And that's just simple basketball. Nice pick set by Hollins, sets a good solid screen, gets the switch, and Rush exploits that switch. And now the Triplets come right back to what's been working for them. Joe Johnson with an isolation. Rush trying to guard him.
Little help from Hollins. Chris Johnson short. Joe Johnson's there. Pargo wide open. Owens just a hair late. He buries the three.
There we go. Pargo finally got one to fall. Listen, that's the thing about Gennaro Pargo. He's not shy. He's never going to stop shooting. This guy can absolutely get it done from behind the arc, and he has complete confidence in himself and his game.
Owens gets it back. Out for Rush. And the answer from Brandon Rush as the Aliens stay within two.
The Aliens would give him that jumper all day long. Roll to the basket. He's an excellent finisher around the basket, though.
Pargo from Joe Johnson.
And that was a great flash screen by Chris Johnson to set that up. Joe Johnson once again on the block.
Both of these franchises new to the Big Three. Two of the four expansion teams. Shannon Brown fall away. Tough shot, he got it.
Tough bucket right there in the mid-range. I didn't know if he was going to try to shoot that straight in or go with the bank, but he got it to fall. Coming down the stretch, this is going to be a battle.
It was all Aliens to start this one.
Yeah, then Joe Johnson took it over. They go, there you go. Now Chris Johnson's in the right spot.
Hollins couldn't get it. Pargo, deflection. And the reset as the shot clock is halfway down at 7. Johnson for three. Chris Johnson, offensive board, and the Triplets extend the lead to 5.
And that's how good he could have been without that.
105 games played in the NBA. Of course, #1 pick of Portland in 07. Here he is now, shakes the shoulders, lost the ball. Well defended by Jefferson. Triplets 45-40 lead. First to 50 wins. Johnson sets his feet. Three-pointer knocks it down.
We're one bucket away from a Triplets victory.
A huge trip here for the Aliens.
Yeah, they got to score. They got to score and get a couple stops. They might need to start looking at a couple 4-pointers. Surprisingly, we haven't had anybody try the 4-pointer yet.
Oden, he's not going to try one.
No, that's definitely not going to be Oden's game.
Joe Johnson, he is there, and as you said, point game here for the Triplets.
This could be the end of it.
ISO Joe. Blows by Brown.
Hello.
And wins it for the Triplets in game #1.
Joe Johnson, Joe Cool, ISO Joe, Joey Buckets, whatever you want to call him. Joe gets it done once again. Back like he never left. Sets him up. Quick in between the legs, tween. Blows right by Rush and then finishes with the patented floater that nobody can stop. There's no help for that. Oden can jump all day. He'll never block that shot.
So Gennaro Parker gets it started. You're playing to 50, you have to win by 2. You got a 14-second shot clock. And then, of course, the biggest wrinkle, the 4-point shot.
See a little turnover there. You know, it's interesting with both of these teams, even though Trilogy was one of the founding members, this is a revamped roster other than Hawkins. So both teams still trying to figure out each other and how they can, best play together.
Patrick O'Brien, the 7-footer out of Bradley, gets the block early on Al Jefferson in the battle of the big man down low.
It's a little bit more challenging to kind of get the motor running and get into a rhythm in an early game you're accustomed to playing a little bit later.
Nice move inside. Hawkins gets the bucket.
Some rhythm, you sweat a little bit more, you get some layups, and now that jump shot becomes a little more fluid, like that one right there. You see what I'm saying?
Hawkins backs down, draws the double, and creates 3 for James White. And a pretty aggressive start between the big men going at it.
Well, they should. I think, again, we got to keep in mind, these are, yes, former NBA players, but they're competitive. So at the end of the day, you're playing in front of a live audience on TV and a crowd. You want to win, and you want to look good while you're doing it.
Johnson draws the D, creates for Pargo, an early recipe for the Triplets.
It's hard to stop anybody one-on-one, like the move right here with James White. Player you're accustomed to having on the backside. So that's why I say with 3-on-3, ball movement and driving gets you easy opportunities. You can settle for jump shots, but because you don't have help, now you're able to exploit the defense a little bit more.
Good screen from Jefferson for Johnson. In the 2-man game, Jefferson gets it back, and Joe Johnson is distributing early.
Depends on the person and the team. I still think, a team like Power, a beautiful pass that played together, same continuity.
Chris Johnson into the game for Triplets. Joe Johnson, tough floater. Starting to get it rolling. Into the post, trying to post up Jason Terry. And now, how about that with the hammer? Johnson to Johnson, Joe to Chris.
Well, sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time. It was a tough pass, excellent catch that time, and saved by Joe Johnson. But Chris Johnson was smart enough not to stay stagnant and dove down the lane to get that easy shot.
There's Jason Terry feeling it.
Is that what he needs right now? Last week struggled a little bit with a shot in his legs, trying to get a rhythm. I think for JT, it's great that you come out and are able to knock in that first shot.
And now you got to go to work on the post again. Joe Johnson clearly trying to take advantage of that matchup on the post, and there is why the ISO is so tough.
Well, I think people don't realize, because from a stature perspective, Joe doesn't look tall, but he's tall and big, okay? So that's what gave him, the great advantage when he played in the NBA because of his size and strength, and we saw it right there with JT.
Sam Young aggressive. That's going to be a push-off, offensive foul.
Easy call.
So this time Sam Young on Joe.
Yeah, a little bit more strength and size right there with Sam.
Anderson lets it fly. Johnson second chance.
Either take the shot or dump it back. Yeah, take it to the next level. Yeah.
Arroyo drumps it off for Young. Off the double. Right back, and a quick trigger for Carlos Arroyo.
And that could be, Carlos didn't play last week, but this could be huge for Trilogy because in this league in particular, if you have guys that can stretch the court and shoot, the pick and roll now becomes a lot more valuable. And if guys double team, it's tougher to double team when you have shooters. So Carlos being a part of this is huge for Trilogy.
Joe Johnson step back three, and he's starting to get the shot down. Distributing early, and now Joe Johnson starting to feel a little bit. Seven now for Joe Johnson. Cube thought Carlos Arroyo was ready for a big day today. Young down the baseline. Arroyo finds Terry, attacking Johnson down the baseline. Terry tries to drop it off into the hands of Al Jefferson. Anderson resets it. Jefferson turnaround on O'Brien. That big man matchup. Lisa Leslie loving the effort from Al Jefferson. The face-up game to give Triplets a 7-point halftime lead. The former Arkansas Razorback from Little Rock, Arkansas. Anderson, floater, goes. Allen Anderson from Minneapolis.
Hawk that time knew he had a quote-unquote mouse in the house, and he took advantage of it by backing Gibson down into the lane, using that big body once again to get inside.
And then he takes a right at Allen Anderson, too. So David Hawkins aggressive.
Yeah. Middle opened up again. If you make your move quick, it's tougher for the defense to kind of recover to get back to you.
Here's Johnson just inside the 4-point look. So that counts for 3. But Joe was pretty close to getting that extra 4-point shot.
Little step back. But again, it was a quick hitting play. So now, again, the defense couldn't react, and Joe just squared up his feet and his shoulders and knocked in an easy 3.
Terry, long 2, into the hands of Johnson, so right back up. And an easy 2 for Joe Johnson, a 12-point lead for Triplets.
And I like this Triplet team because you got a real good combination from a guard perspective with Joe, Allen Anderson, and Pargo, but having Jefferson, you see a great move by James White to kind of anchor inside.
White takes it right at Joe Johnson. Hawkins euros his way to the hoop and 1. Tri-State last year led the team in scoring. You knew that Joe in the early game was going to get at least 1 up. Anderson bumped again. Floater over Arroyo. Double on Joe Johnson. Jefferson. Back to the weak side, Allen Anderson. Triplets,
3-ball.
Money in the half court.
It was a 4-point interview. I like that too. I might hashtag that also.
The Emmy award-winning Michael Rappaport never disappoints.
Give him another one.
Appreciate that,
hashtag
Jack.
No problem.
4-point interview. Well, now Al knows he's talking about the old school game. 14 NBA seasons. He has. Well, just like that. Just take. I mean, that's easy money, right?
Well, listen, he's doing the smart thing. On the pick and roll, he just dives right to the front of the rim, and if you help on the ball handler, now he's going to be wide open. So that's just smart basketball, you know?
And then gets back to D'ing it up on the perimeter on White.
Yeah.
Arroyo, good dish. White, triple off a great look from Carlos Arroyo.
Yeah, now see, it feels like the Triplets are up like 15 points, but there is only a 6-point game, which is good for Trilogy, who has kind of struggled to kind of get themselves in this game. Like, defensively, can they get the stops they need to really get in here and maybe take control?
Well, it's starting with Patrick O'Brien, who is trying to muscle Al Jefferson out of his comfort zone down low.
Well, the defense created the offense. Now you have the ball with a chance. Well, you know, Triplets had the ball. You got a chance defensively again to get another stop.
And now Jefferson on Patrick O'Brien again. Anderson on the wing. Shot clock, has to heave it. Boarded by O'Brien. Trilogy's comeback, beginning with defense.
Yeah, 2 tough possessions that time by the Triplets. Will give credit to Trilogy defensively. Now you able to take advantage of it once again.
A tough 2 from Arroyo pulls Trilogy within 2.
Well, I guarantee you they go back to Joe Johnson on this.
And here is ISO Joe.
Hey, listen, I'm not the smartest, but I ain't the dumbest either.
And he finds Jefferson slipping, and frustration because Trilogy still doesn't have an answer for that 2-man game.
Well, get to the free throw line, then you retain the ball. So that's a way right there that you score and can control the game. And now Trilogy finding their offensive, again, the benefit of having Arroyo on the squad is not only for shooting and scoring, but decision making. And he's made some great decisions down the stretch of this game.
12-4 run, Trilogy. Jefferson in tied around Young. So Patrick O'Brien to the bench. Al Jefferson takes advantage. Playing to 50, have to win by 2. So urgency here for Trilogy to avoid 0-2. Joe Johnson rips it away. Easy bucket for Joe. Puts 5 points away from a win.
Well, Triplets have 5 team fouls. Why not? Okay, take that shot. Never mind. Out here competing.
And you feel that when you walk in the gym, when you're like, this guy has it and he's ready and he's bringing it.
Oh, yeah. You'll put a lot of pressure on the defense, man.
Sam Young gets a task now. There's the 4-point shot from Joe. 49 on the board for Triplets. Big 3 raise up for ISO Joe.
Love it. Right on cue.
Desperation now for Trilogy. Arroyo.
Great defense that time by Pargo.
Young step in 3. Well shot. There's Joe to end it. Joe Johnson. Little Rock, give him the rock. 27 in week 1. And the last 6 for the Triplets in the win.
Well, definition of a problem child is Joe Johnson. He gives it to you any way you want. In the post, outside, he was the first to take a 4-point shot this afternoon. He was the first to make it on that one. And again, the ability for Joe to stretch the defense. And then, that time, Carter, he knew to take it right back up for the game winner.
Will Bynum. He will inbound it for Bivouac. Guarded by Allen Anderson.
Yeah, interesting too, because Bivouac, they want to isolate Will Bynum to get him in space, and see Josh Smith is able to get himself before we give up this.
All of our career in the NBA. He says, I love this now. He says, you can't double team, because he says, if you double team Joe, I get to eat down low.
Yeah, that's right.
Josh Smith has come out aggressive. The kick out. Anderson. Behind the back pass to Jefferson. Jump hook. No good. Here's Smitty for 3. Yes! Josh Smith, welcome back home.
Well, you knew the energy was going to be there, but probably for both he and Joe, but he more importantly because he hasn't been playing up to his level of expectations.
He'll shoot 1 for 3. Got it. That 3 too strong by Anderson. You know, Lisa Leslie said she drew up 15 plays and Josh Smith is red hot. Anderson, the 3. Yes, sir. 1-point lead for Bivouac. 9-8 is your score.
And see, I like that because it was a quick rebound by Jefferson. Allen Anderson came and relocated. Now, if you make quick passes, the defense can't recover.
Josh Smith backs him down. He's so strong inside. The little jump hook. Left it short. Rebound and in. The board. Bynum's been out. Oh, ball fake. Drive. Uses the body control. And he'll go to the line. He's the leading scorer for Bivouac. Missed that free throw. And Josh Smith. Oh, he's everywhere.
You know, but now the Triplets, what they're going to have to do is match Josh's energy. You know, he's playing at a different level right now from an energy. That whole rebound and offensive rebound and putback was all about energy. Look,
there it
right
is.
There.
Stolen by Josh. Morrow. No, but there's Josh Smith. Who can stop this man? And 1. I see you, Smitty.
I think people forget, too, Josh Smith was an excellent defensive player, too. 2010 second team all defense, especially what really made him special was the block shots coming from the weak side.
Here's the drive, laid up and in.
They'll make you pay for it.
Chris Johnson, he'll set the pick for Joe Johnson. He's going to shoot the 4. Hit one last week. Just missed that one.
Good rebound, cleanup rebound that time by Bynum.
He's got a big man on him. Let's see if he tries to take him to the rack. Shakes him, hesitates, left hand. Oh my! Will Bynum. First team to 25, we go to the half. Here's Bynum. Step back. Kiss myself. Will Bynum.
Well, the hesitation that time with Gibson and CJ, or whether the switcher stayed, that gave Bynum that little space to be open inside. Oh, good play.
Oh, good dunk by Chris Johnson. Here's Leslie at the high post. Challenged by Jefferson, and he knocks it down as Leslie. Bivouac 2 points away from the half. And a 9-point lead. The handoff, Joe Johnson. The kick out, Anderson for 3, short. Jefferson blocked by Josh Smith. And he will go to the line. He can knock down this free throw, we'll go to the half.
To take away that shot.
And we go to the half, and Bivouac with an 11-point lead on the unbeaten Triplets.
Being open on the baseline, as soon as Josh kind of leaves, now you present yourself to get some easy layers.
The ISO Joe. Backs in, jump hook, good. He waves it off. Bynum takes his candy. And then attacks. Kick out. Josh Smith open for 3. Yes!
That's how you take advantage of great defense by Bynum, anticipating the dribble from Joe. On the penetration, Josh Smith made himself available to knock in another 3-point shot.
20 for Josh Smith. Here's Joe Johnson. Backs his way in the league.
I love Joe. I played with him first year in Phoenix. Unfortunately, that year he got hurt in the playoffs against San Antonio. Had the mask on, broke his nose.
Yes.
But, I mean, I loved this being with Joe. Such a quiet demeanor, but heck of a competitor.
Alan Anderson now. Working on Anthony Morrow. Inside, and gets the roll. Triplets needed to see one go in.
For when their lack of focus and concentration on the defensive end is not there.
Josh Smith get a blow, gets stretched out, and Sean Williams comes in for him and knocks down a jumper.
That's how you make your impact felt right away.
Here's Joe Johnson. And a reach in on CJ Leslie. Free throw's good. Counts for 2.
It's only a 10-point lead. I mean, it feels like it's more.
Yep.
If you do triplets, you get you a couple stops in a row, able to take advantage of it. But right now,
Sean Williams.
Everybody who's touched the court has contributed for Bivouac in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Sean Williams just comes out, didn't play in the first half, but comes here, knocks down his first 2 shots once he gets in the game.
First team to 50, wins it, got to win by 2. Here's Joe Johnson. Again, drives off the glass. Joe Johnson is starting to heat up. He wants to go one-on-one with Morrow. 5 on the shot clock. Giving him a little shoulder. Hey, that's an old Jim Jackson move.
Hey,
give him that shoulder.
Give him that shoulder. But listen, Joe was smart because he took a look to see how much time he had on the shot clock, and he knew once he got to the middle, again, that little bump, what that bump does in the chest of Morrow, just create the space so Joe can get that jump hook off.
Leslie, step back, no. Rebound, Triplets, and all of a sudden, Joe Johnson, and the Triplets are hot. He's no ordinary Joe.
What I tell you, consecutive defensive stops now allows your offense to be in a position that you can take advantage of it, and who better else to do that than Joe?
Joe Johnson has scored 11 of the Triplets' last 13 points. C.J. Leslie finally puts it in to the run for the Triplets.
Yeah, big response that time by Leslie.
7-point lead for Bivouac. Lead has been as large as 12. Here's Anderson. Fades. Misses.
Tough shot.
Leslie for three. Yes! Big shot by C.J. Leslie, and Lisa Leslie wants a timeout. Josh Smith has got 20 for Bivouac, and they're guarding each other. Here's Joe now. Gets the pick. Rolling is Johnson. Dunks it home! Have some, Bivouac!
Oh, coming out to timeout, an excellent play drawn up by Lisa Leslie to get Joe isoed in the middle of the floor and then into a quick pick and roll. And the excellent find and recognition.
Pocket pass to C.J. Leslie and right back at you.
And that's what Reggie Fizz was talking about too in regards to his team. And he may not have been on the mic, but being able to respond, and I said it before, when the Triplets kind of make their run, if they score a basket, you come right back at them.
Here's Joe. 4 on the shot clock. Turns, got it, in one.
Speak volumes.
Knocks down the and one. Joe Johnson now. He'll have to clear it. And did he clear it all the way? Didn't, now he does. Spins on Bynum, he's got double team. Throws it up to the rim to Johnson, we got a foul. Played 3 seasons in the NBA. Knocks down the free throw, counts for 2. And the lead is now 5, and the Triplets are in the bonus. So they get that basketball.
They get the ball back. So now the ultra aggressive going to the basket and pick up some foul. Oh, never mind. Take the 3.
Yes, Alan Anderson.
Take the 3.
Oh, the lead is 2 now.
Oh, yeah. See, this is where it gets good right here. You know, 2 best players guarding each other. Now Alan Anderson has an opportunity to try to defend Will Bynum one-on-one in space.
Good D. Joe Johnson. Anderson. He'll pull up inside. Block. But the foul. Knocked this down. Oh, we got a tie ball game, folks. They get the switch. Big on little man. Bynum. 4 seconds. He's going to drive.
Oh, reach.
If he makes it, and he does.
Big free throw.
Yep.
Now he had that bunny and couldn't convert.
Here's Joe. Pull up. 3. Count it. 1-point lead for the Triplets. And Josh Smith is calling for it.
Got to be smart offensively, though.
Working on his former teammate. Spins. Backs him down. Turns to that left hand. No! In and out. Here's Joe Johnson for 3. Rims out. Alan Anderson. To Joe. No! Ordinary Joe. The Triplets are 3 points away from victory, and Bivouac can't believe it. 4-point lead, Triplets. Bynum with it. He gets the switch. Drives. Reverse.
There it is.
Joe Johnson for the win. Too strong. Alan Anderson. 5 now. 4. Wow.
Now, when we mess it up and it wasn't our fault,
Right.
you know that, right?
Here's Joe in the lane. Yes.
Hey, man, sometimes guys are just too good.
Yeah, man.
I don't care what kind of defense you got.
Here's Will Bynum. Here's a reach.
When you're a hooper, you will always be a hooper. I don't care if you're 58, 60, 72, whatever it is, it's still up in you. Now, big free throw. Take advantage again of trying to get yourself an easy, there's the ISO right there. Great defense by Anderson, though.
Great defense, yes. Here's Joe Johnson for the win. It's 3. Oh, too strong. Johnson, the rebound, and the block on Bynum.
And Joe may not have made that shot, but because the defense had to scramble, a long shot, great rebound, Johnson able to take advantage. Again, the impact that Joe Johnson has on the game. He didn't make the shot, because the defense had to scramble. That opened up the offensive rebound for a guy, Johnson, who happened to be the right place at the right time.
Point game. Triplets, and they remain unbeaten as they come back from 12 down to beat Bivouac, thanks to JJ himself, ISO Joe, who ends with 26 big ones.
Multi-dimensional as a player, as a person, to be able to do a little bit of everything.
Here's the triplets. Inside, Al Jefferson gets the first 2 points of the day.
And you know what?
Here's Nate Robinson now. Step back for 3. And Sergio Gibson with that left hand knocks down the 3.
And to be able to take some of the scoring load off of Joe, more importantly, the wear and tear, so he's fresher down the stretch of the game, so he can finish it off. And they're talking about fresh.
So far, Tri-State 1 of 6 from the field. Oh, that pass intercepted. Stack got it back and dunks it home. Amari Stoudemire.
It's not rocket science. The pick and roll. Gibson had it temporarily, but the ball sometimes doesn't bounce your way, and Amari able to gather and finish inside. Again, that pick and roll when you clear the corner is so tough to take away, especially when you have a guy like Nate Robinson that can explode off.
Tied up at 5. Stoudemire, all 5 of Tri-State's points. Here's Teddy Gibson, the 3. Missed it. Gibson again. Kick out. ISO. Jump. It looks like Gibson and Nate Robinson had a collision.
Let's take a look at the collision underneath. Both guys, oh, right there, Al Jefferson. Unintentionally, like he got hit in the eye, so. And then to add insult to injury, Gibson hustling. But I think it was the initial hit in the eye that probably caught more of the damage. Johnson on the perimeter and keep that big body outside of the lane where he's lethal.
Stack from the foul line, knocks it down. Here's Allen Anderson again. From the corner, the 3, no. Jefferson, rejected by Stack. And the follow-up by Al.
Stays with it.
(10-7). Inside, Stoudemire fakes, pulls, money. 1 point lead here for the triplets. Anderson thought about the 4. Will take the 3 instead, knocks it down. I'm giving you buckets. That's what Stat is telling him. Here's Jay Rich. Pull up. Finally, another player besides Stoudemire knocks down a jumper. Here's Jay Rich again. And we're all tied up here.
Had his head down and unfortunately coughed it up.
Anderson, ball fake drive, lays it in. Lost it. Pargo now. Step back 3. Got it!
That pass to get in easily. If not, you can't come back and help on that mismatch inside.
Here's Jay Rich. Inside to Stack. Shoulder, inside L. Man, he took him to the Brooklyn Zoo.
No doubt, put that beef on him. But, you know, Amari, deep post position, used that shoulder to dislodge Johnson. You see a steal right here by Jay Rich. See if he can take advantage of it.
Jay Rich spins, lays it in. The former slam dunk king. Oh, we got a good one here. It's cooking in Brooklyn. 3-point lead for the triplets. Pargo behind the back. Pull up for 3. Count it.
And actually, Jay Rich did an outstanding job of getting over the pick, but Pargo able to create space like Amari did right there with another shot.
In the big three. Here's Joe Johnson. Pargo for three. Yes! Gennaro Pargo has come in and lit it up from distance.
Loud so your teammates can hear you. Instead having the ball out there.
Jason Richardson hits the jumper. He's got 8. Just he and Stat, only members of Tri-State who have scored. They're down 5 here to the Triplets.
Yeah, and Robert Height coming in the second half, getting the starting knock could be huge for them from an offensive perspective.
And you know that man gets hot in the second half. Joe Johnson, he's now got 5. Leads the big three in scoring. He's scored nearly half of the Triplets' points this season. Here's Stat. Robert Height inside to Jason Richardson. He's got 12.
This Triplets team.
Pargo misses that three. Richardson dunks it home. The 7-point lead at the half.
Great defense that time by Stat.
Stoudemire inside. Jay Rich. It's two-man game here by Tri-State. They're in a 7-0 run, and we're tied up.
You got to cut down on those little mental mistakes because defensively you're not going to be able to recover when you turn it over deep. But you can always lean on Joe.
Kick out. Jay Rich for 3. Robert Height follows it up and in. We're tied up again. First team to 50.
But back to work for Joe Johnson and Triplets offensively.
Here's Joe. Step back. Pull. Count it. ISO Joe. Pargo knocked down 3 threes in that first half. Oh, give him a headsy. Pull up. Off the rim.
There's Joe.
Spins. Oh, Joe Johnson, don't do him like that.
But you see the look off? As he got the ball on the baseline, kind of looked towards the middle, knowing he had the baseline open, quick spin, easy layup.
He's got all 8 of the Triplet points until Al Jefferson lays those 2 in. Just picked up by Tri-State this week. Pull up short. Got his board, and he'll go to the line.
Then you have to respond. This team is too good, the Triplets.
They go inside to Joe Johnson. Step back, turn around. Oh, my! This man is grimy in Brooklyn.
Kind of finding his niche right there in the middle of the court, but also on the low post to be able to get his shots up.
Here's Al Jefferson from the foul line. Knocks it down.
Contributions, man.
He's got 8.
This Triplet team, Brian, you talked about it. Being able to depend and rely on different guys to keep the defense honest and not just focusing in on Joe Johnson.
10-2 run by the Triplets. Stat shot blocked by Jefferson. Oh, little dream shake. Missed it. Jefferson follow, yes.
In regards to time management, game management, but also play call. You get a better sense and feel on how to operate 3-on-3 half court, and that's operating right there with Rich outside off the pass from Amari. But those are the adjustments that coaches continue to make once they get a sense and feel of the game, the flow, but also their team.
Tri-State knocks down their first 3 of the game. Here's Al Jefferson. Knocks it down, takes the bump from Stat. Jefferson's got 12. Triplets are just 6 points away from victory. First team to 50 wins. Here's Jay Rich. Off the screen, picked up by Johnson. Jay Rich off the glass.
I like that play, a little 2-man game, and it kind of a handoff, and Jay Rich was able to sprint off the pick and then lean into, which looked like an easy shot, but it's still a tough shot on the move to bank it softly off the glass.
Oh, good dish to Al Jefferson. All of a sudden, the Triplets just 4 points away from victory. DOR now for Tri-State has checked in. Rich has got 20. Here's Stat. That is short. Joe Johnson. He can end it with a 4.
What are you saying?
He's going to end it.
Did you go?
He's no ordinary Joe.
Hey, Brian, do me a favor, bro. Give me the number for next week so I can play it in the Mega Millions because you just called it out. But since we're in Brooklyn, of course, bro, you can't knock the hustle of Joe Johnson right here, occupying the defense, setting it up the whole time, feeling that now was the time to knock in this three or 4-point play, 4-point shot, I mean, and Jay Rich not respecting it, saying that you can take it. Joe Johnson says, thank you very much.
The Triplets remain unbeaten. Welcome to a scorching hot Kansas City, Missouri. We're inside the Sprint Center. You're watching BIG3 here on CBS.
Particularly in late game situations, and let's see if that can happen for Triplets early.
Here's Katino Mobley, shot blocked and laid up and in by Al Jefferson. Here's Mobley. Mobley's working with a calf injury, missed last week, says he's about 70%. McGetty got it for three. Gennaro Pargo was 3 for 3 for threes in that first half last week, and he picks up where he left off, knocks down that jumper.
Yeah, pull up with confidence and knock it in.
McGetty faces, pull, got it. 6-4 our score. First team to 25, we go to the half. Two of the best teams in the Big Three. Here's Pargo now. Stolen by McGetty. And lays it up and in. Fast start for Corey McGetty. He's got all 8 points for power.
And that was just a soft pass coming back out by Pargo. Easy pickoff by Power. And I talked about it in our first game. You turn it over like that, the advantage is to the defensive team to score.
Good dish, Joe Johnson. He not only leads the league in scoring, but assists as well.
Because think about it, when he played at Phoenix too, he played point guard. At Brooklyn, he played point guard. So his ability at 6'8" to see over the defense and then put the ball on target.
Corey McGetty hit him with the hesitation. Oh my gosh. Big Baby clears the rebound. Here's Glenn Big Baby Davis. 5 on the shot clock. Drives. Said, give me the bucket. And one. What a screen by Big Baby. Rolls to the basket and lays it in with the left hand.
And see, it's the footwork.
Here's the cat. Shoots the three. Yes! Katino Mobley.
You'll go back to Cat's shot in the corner. It does look like his foot, look at it, was on the line. The officials or Lisa Leslie, and from that matter, didn't see it.
10-point lead. Mobley. Here's Mobley. Knocks it down. Power now with 19 points. And Power on an 11-0 run. Here comes Big Baby.
You see the pass? It was in between the legs, I think, from Cat. Again, the patience off the pick and roll. Big Baby, put that big body. Watch the pass. Right in between Al Jefferson's legs. Oh, look at this. Get out the way. Joe Johnson, a big boy, too, now.
Yes, he is. Good steal. And Joe finally gets on the board and lays it in. Here's Joe Johnson. This is the side of the lane they want to keep him on. As he shoots a pullback. You know, Nancy Lieberman said, I looked at a number of tape. Joe Johnson shooting 68% from the left side of the floor, 29% from the right. We got to make him shoot jumpers from the right side.
Well, it's also, too, he's shooting 69% because he's able to get that big body in the lane on the left side, his left shoulder pointing to the rim, and now he's able to shoot that jump hook. So that's the big difference right there.
Al Jefferson lays it in. 11-point lead. Power just 4 points away from the half.
Yeah, if you're Triplets, you want to close this half with momentum. You want to get back in the game, in this game, feel good about yourself coming out in the second half.
Here's Big Baby. 2. He has to force it. Joe Johnson from the corner. Yes! He knocks down the triple. Lead is now 8.
Yeah, but again,
sprint to the three-point line, get the ball out quick. Now you find yourself open and having advantage because the defense still hasn't recovered. Joe Johnson took advantage right there.
And Quentin Richardson on the block.
And right, that was more than willing to give that jump shot up to Jefferson off the double team.
Oh, Julian Wright getting tricky with the handles. And they go right into the post to Jefferson. Al spins, turns. That's barbecue chicken there.
It is who you're down to and what the deficit is. It's a little bit different being down to power if you end up being down, 8 to 10 points than it is some other teams in the league, because see Joe cutting into this lead a little bit more. It's
Chris Johnson rolls.
like that.
Goes up and fouled by Michael Thompson. Here's Chris Johnson. And he knocks it down. Hey, the Triplets all of a sudden now on an 11-2 run. Here's the cat. Pull up. Yes! And we go to the half as the defending champs. Up 25-19.
Now power has the advantage.
Here's Maggette. Misses that three. Rebound, Joe Johnson. Working on Cuttino Mobley. Joe in the lane. Step back. Got it. Joe Johnson.
To the right side with a fadeaway inside.
Cat misses that three. Joe Johnson snags the board. Doing it all right now for the Triplets. Here's Allen Anderson. Drive, strip, got it back and lays it in.
And I like that move because Allen kind of caught it on the move as Cuttino was, recovering on his closeout. Allen knew the baseline was open and took advantage of it.
2-point lead for Power.
Uh-oh.
It's now tied up. This lead was 13 at one point in the first half. Here's Corey. Tied up at 25. First team to 50 wins. You got to win by 2. Al Jefferson. Down low. He'll go to the line and shoot 1 for 2.
Where it's going to be held in a premium that you don't.
2-point lead for the Triplets. We're down by as many as 13 in the first half. The Cat with 4 on the shot clock. Good defense by Allen Anderson. The runner got it. Cuttino Mobley.
The Cat had to work for that one.
He out there looking like Uncle Drew getting buckets.
He had to work for this. I mean, Allen Anderson, physical, got by Cat, kind of got away with the push-off, but it's the hardest 2 you scored all day.
Joe Johnson, the crossover.
Uh-oh.
Turns, fires, yes! Oh, we're going one-on-one now.
You know what they say? Great D, better O. That's just what this was right here. Cat was there, and you made Joe take a tough fall-away shot. All you can do is pat him on the butt and say, good shot.
Knocks down the free throw, 3-point lead. The Triplets now with their largest lead. It's 3. Inside, Big Baby. Oh, look at that movement.
Big fella.
1-point lead here for the Triplets. Here's Joe. On his favorite side of the court.
To his left shoulder.
Here's Corey Maggette. Mobley inside, yes.
I don't know how you got that off. I mean, it was trees. Allen Anderson was there, taller Jefferson. Al Jefferson was there, and Cat.
See
with his left hand.
And how about the limp, though? He says his calf is only at about 70%.
Well, they're going to need Cat to be effective. I mean,
Joe Johnson misses that three. Here's Corey Maggette. He scored the first 10 points, but hasn't scored since. And he hears me.
I'm telling you, they listen to you, B. I'm telling you.
Here's Maggette.
Oh, great D.
Oh, fantastic defense by Joe Johnson. Shot clock at 4.
A lot of the defensive assignments were put on Joe on the opposing team's point guard, because Steve wasn't as good of a defensive player, so Mike D'Antoni trusted Joe, even if he gave up a little speed, but his height and his strength and his knowledge of how to play D on a smaller opponent paid dividends.
Joe Johnson Step back fadeaway. Lead is now just 1 for Power. Johnson in double figures. Leads the big 3 in scoring. Here's Julian Wright. Nice spin off of Cargo.
Yeah, Lisa Leslie can't stay with that matchup right there.
Big baby, I have a seat. Quentin Richardson will check in for Power. Keep in mind, Birdman, ACL surgery on his knee.
And you talking about an energy player you're not having, and you see Johnson right there to square up.
Certainly send him our best wishes. Great guy.
Yeah, he was, you see, did he call glass that time by Julian Wright?
Well,
but
they
also,
tell me the banks are open here.
It's still open right now. You know, you go in, make a withdrawal real quick, put a deposit in there, but also along with Christian, what you miss with Chris Anderson not being there, you see a jump shot by Allen Anderson. This is last year's Defensive Player of the Year. He has an impact, especially on the defensive end of the court. Great point.
Julian Wright misses, follows his own shot. Takes it right to the cup. Julian Wright.
Showing a soft touch to shoot it from the outside, too.
Chris Johnson missed the turnaround. Wright. It's Wright. Knocks it down.
Right.
Here's Joe. Drive. Off the glass. Count it.
Did you see, Joe surveyed and knew the defense on the right side was stacked, identified the baseline as the point of the attack. And again, the late help by Wright, but he couldn't really leave Al Jefferson because Al Jefferson was diving to the basket.
First team to 50, you win. You got to win by 2. Here's Corey Maggette. And he draws the foul on Allen Anderson.
Did they call it on the floor?
Corey Maggette knocks down the free throw. Here's Corey Maggette. A 4 can win it. Here's Julian Wright. Spin, turns, shoots, off the glass, no. Triplets basketball. The big baby, kick out, right for 3.
Foot on the line.
Foot on the line. Here's Joe Johnson now. Splits the double team. Wide open, Allen Anderson. Cash money.
And I was going to say, B, better not play with these boys because Joe, you put him in a situation right there, you commit, he split the double team. Big time shot by Allen Anderson in the corner.
Here's Maggette. Fakes the pass, lays it up and in. Power now 2 points away from victory.
Now, Joe's been known to make big shots. Keep in mind, you got to win by 2.
He knocks down a 4.
Well, you know, and if he knocks down a 3,
here he goes.
Put yourself in the position.
Jefferson knocks it in.
Okay. Can you get triplets right now? And I know Lisa Leslie, the competitor she is, can we get a defensive stop to give our offense a chance?
Point game coming. The reigning MVP, Corey Maggette, pull up, head game over. Power wins it and gives the Triplets their first loss of the season.
Everything we expected between these two titans of the league. And here's the thing about it. At the end of the game, if Corey Maggette takes that shot and he beats you with that, it's really nothing you can do about it.
At the home of the Jazz tonight, it's the home of the Big 3. Matchup number 2, Bull Hogs versus the 4-1 Triplets.
Was really excited about the addition of Jamario Moon because she said they desperately need a third scorer behind Al Jefferson and Joe Johnson.
There's Jefferson from ISO Joe Johnson. And Scalabrini versus ISO Joe. Behind the back into the hands of Joe. Oh, Scal. Well, it didn't turn into the finger roll there for Joe Johnson. Sean Stevenson, quick trigger 3. Gibson has the board. Joe Johnson fought to get it started. No ISO needed for Joe from 4.
They got the fans off their seat. Joe Johnson, you got to guard Joe when he gets off the bus.
And then Joe reaches in on a foul, but yeah, you celebrate that one for a while.
Deshaun Stevenson, he knows better than that. You got to get out there and what we call rush Joe Johnson.
And what'd you say about Ranger? There was a 5-point shot, you know Joe would have it in the game because that forward clearly, especially when you leave him alone. Back into the hands of Scal for the winless Ball Hogs. McDonald in tight on Joe Johnson. So there's a matchup that goes for the Ball Hogs. Johnson on Stevenson with help from Scal. Johnson in tight on Deshaun Stevenson. That looks too easy.
I told him I was predicting he's going to get 8 this week.
Joe, no look. Gibson couldn't finish, but draws a foul.
I was really impressed, again, in talking with Coach Lisa Leslie yesterday. She said, I thought the loss wasn't going to affect me as much during the week. But she said, my entire family, and her son MJ is here with her. She said, my entire family said, you know, Mom, why are you in such a bad mood? She said, because we lost.
And that is the fight that Lisa Leslie has always brought up. There's MJ.
There's MJ, handsome boy.
Camera's going to find him. He's going to find the camera. And that was an intense loss. By 3 to Power in an epic battle in Kansas City. So those two, that was a good one. That was a good quote.
That's pretty good, BT.
Disappointed early. 6 of the first 8 came from Joe Johnson. 3 goes.
Pick and roll.
Lay D, Jefferson knocks that one away. No roll needed. Johnson draws a double, creating for Gibson. One more pass, Jefferson with a head fake and a finish. And Al Jefferson has brought his game to downtown Salt Lake City again.
When my teams played against Al Jefferson, specifically when he was playing here with the Jazz, one of the major things on the scouting report in bright red letters is do not fall for his pump fakes.
And then you cannot leave Joe Johnson alone. Johnson on Quintel Woods all the way, draws a foul.
He's smart, high basketball IQ. It was a pleasure.
And led by Joe Johnson. Triplets 4-1, Power 4-1. Johnson, step back on Quintel Woods, skates, and a triple. Trouble, Joe putting on a show. 10 straight Triplets run. Jamario Moon, first action with the Triplets, trade this week. McDonald's trip, Joe, easiest to his 16 first half points have led the Triplets on an 11-0 run and a 12-point lead at the half.
You know, the Big Three getting that type of publicity and you know, people really paying homage to how special Joe Johnson was here in his limited time.
Well, Jamario Moon's going to pick up a foul here. It's a tough start of the second half.
Double-digit deficit, and you're basically climbing up a hill the entire game. The first play for him on the live to get him going here in the second half.
Joe again, 19 of the Triplets, 29 from salty Joe Johnson.
I think Joe was saying, did you guys read the scouting report?
Oh, Little Rock, Big Rock. Marcus Williams comes back with a much-needed 2 for the Ball Hogs.
To try to get the ball out of Joe Johnson's hand and force somebody else to score.
Well, here he is again. They run 2. McDonald gives the foul.
It puts the strain on the defense.
21 now of the Triplets, 31. 15 straight points for the Triplets from Joe Johnson. Nice dish. Williams to McDonald in tight.
And I think that's something that Coach Rick Barry wants, to get the ball to Will McDonald a little bit more.
Moon off the look from Joe Johnson. Moon in tight on McDonald. There's his first bucket. Member of the Triplets of 18 versus the Ghost Ballers. So long drought for the Ball Hogs and an extremely tough matchup tonight. And now it's target practice. Pargo hits a three. Joe Johnson gets a rest. His former Arkansas teammate, Gennaro Pargo, on the wing. Jefferson takes it on Scal himself. He was disappointed he missed the last two.
Whatever amount of points Al has in his career, probably 75% of them came on that move.
It's on the scouting report. Williams follows his miss. Throws it right back to the triplets. Pargo with an easy two.
This could pay dividends for the triplets, especially if Joe Johnson can rest the rest of the game. They're going to have to try a different strategy. Maybe, play two guys around the 4-point line, shoot threes.
Oh! Scal taking your advice, Avery. Scal and McDonald. He thought about the three. Stevenson's going to take it without Jefferson playing offense. So now you're starting to get that three going down. Stevenson, wide open. That was a big miss.
Lisa Leslie doesn't look very happy right now.
Allen Anderson three. Rattles it home. Allen Anderson bringing the triplets within 5 points of 5 and 1.
I think Allen Anderson took a quick look at Lisa before he took that shot.
Good, bad, make. All right, we'll take it. And Stevenson answers with a three.
Get some room to make a three or take it to the basket.
Scal not backing down, D'ing it up, forcing the air ball. McDonald there to finish it up. It started with Scal's D.
And I just think the triplets come up empty again because the Ball Hogs are on the 10-3 run. I expect Lisa Leslie to call timeout and get ISO Joe back in.
Out of the horn set, Anderson step in three. 48 on the board for triplets.
Think about going to Al Jefferson.
Al for three to end it.
On the post, not from behind the 3-point line, Al.
You talked about 75% of shots were the hook in the post. I don't think a high percentage were from threes.
That may be Al's first three-point attempt in this building, in his career.
We'll see if he tries it again.
Got to go to Al on the box.
Anderson looking for him. Anderson ends it himself. Allen Anderson, the hot hand to close it out. Triplets are 5 and 1 alone atop the big three.
Second game of our triple header in the Big Three. It's the triplets and three-headed monsters from Fiserv Forum. So Avery, you have Gibson, Jefferson, Joe Johnson for the triplets. And for the three-headed monsters, Mario Chalmers with Richard Lewis and Reggie Evans. A steal and a finish for Joe Johnson.
And it's interesting to see Lisa Leslie's decision to bring Jamario Moon off the bench and start Gibson. But I think you'll see Jamario Moon, especially if the game is close, you'll see him in the game along with Joe Johnson and Al Jefferson.
ISO Joe against the bigger Evans. Long range and the rebound for Lewis. Chalmers, corner tray. Chalmers off the rebound from Lewis, knocks it down.
And we'll see if the three-headed monsters can have the same success as the aliens did in game one, with success from behind the three-point line and how that can translate to, developing some momentum early in the game.
Al Jefferson cleans it up with a challenge for the triplets. How much Joe Johnson has done, who could be that other key contributor as Lewis lets it fly and buries it.
Got a great release.
What a matchup. Lewis against the bigger Jefferson, drop step and the finish. Lewis tried, but that's a tough move.
Yeah, I'm surprised Al, he didn't need one of his famous pump fakes on that play because he probably outweighs Lewis by about 20 pounds in the paint.
Played in the year 14 years, Al Jefferson, out of high school in Mississippi, 15th pick in 2004. A long run with a total of 5 teams. 10-6 start for the three-headed monsters. Again, triplets 5 and 1. If they win, they're all alone in first. Johnson is going to the line for a 2-point shot, because when he's doing this, it's going to build up quickly. He's from Fort Pierce, Florida, but back in Milwaukee. A nice pass.
Kick out for a 3. Yeah, the key is going to be for Joe Johnson to try to move him around a little bit. Reggie can guard him in a small space.
ISO Joe, step to his right, drills the jumper from inside the arc.
It looked really familiar.
Give it to him, let him go. 3 to shoot, Lewis lost it. Chalmers goes up for a 4-point shot. Gibson took it away. Johnson teardrop is good. And we're tied up at 12.
Gibson is having an impact on this game with his steals. Hustle points.
Sergio Teddy Gibson. Oh, Lewis kept it alive. Chalmers fouled, shooting a 3, and he's going to get 1 shot from beyond the arc.
A closed window 3 where you can't even see the basket.
Chalmers steps up and drills it, and just like that, it's a 3-point lead for the three-headed monsters. Now that's big, Avery, because you mentioned Joe Johnson last week got the breather with his team up big. Gets one now with his team down by 3.
Yeah, this is the earliest breather he's received here in the Big 3 season. So we'll see if Jamario Moon or Anderson can pick it up. And he picked up the slack.
Alan Anderson knocks down the 3. So that's a rare view for ISO Joe and Lisa Leslie. Chalmers slips it, Evans to Al Thornton. Fly by, drive, Thornton with the finish on the move in his debut for the three-headed monsters.
Al's been working out somewhere. He was moving pretty good on that play.
Stay active. 4-year NBA veteran out of Florida State. Al Jefferson, a lot of contact underneath. Step. And here is Chalmers, who drills it. 2-point shot. 4-point lead with Joe Johnson on the bench.
Yes, and the fouls are mounting for the triplets.
Oh, the fake pass and the jumper from Mario Chalmers.
Got the early season MVP and ISO Joe.
Anderson against Mahmoud. Offensive foul, Alan Anderson. Crafty there from Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Wow.
Now the cheese must have been bitter for Alan Anderson. He does not like that call.
Yeah, I like to see a replay on that one. Yep, Allen was holding Mahmoud off with his left forearm. He didn't get both of his hands up until it was too late. You got to do it early.
2-point shot from Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. And
right now the triplets are depending too much on Joe Johnson.
Off the mark, Thornton, no, but he's going to take a 2-point shot. Johnson didn't even hit the rim.
Right.
In his debut with the three-headed monsters. And what a first half, 25-15, a 10-point lead at the break. Johnson now 3 of 9, 0 of 4 from 3. Up fake, Mahmoud. Put back in on the weak side, Larry Sanders.
And we talked about Sanders getting going, maybe with a lob, but also, on the offensive glass. But that gives Gary Payton another option offensively. And he's starting off big this half with both Sanders and Evans on the court at the same time instead of Rashard Lewis.
Johnson, leaner is good. A tough shot to end what was a 15-3 run for the three-headed monsters.
Yeah, my first year in the NBA, which was 1988, I think that was the first year of the Bradley Center.
Yes. Active hands by Gibson. Johnson slithering, had to get it back. ISO Joe leaner, and you can see he's just trying to get his team back into this game.
Wow, just remarkable body control. I can think of 10 different NBA teams, and we have, a few guys in the Big 3 that's have that capability. You agree?
No doubt. Oh, Evans almost got a second chance. Last appearance for Johnson in the NBA was with Houston last year. Abdul-Rauf, jumper is good off the bounce. Power winning yesterday. Mahmoud takes it and scores. Turn the corner and the burst to the rim.
He's going to have to come over and maybe what we call a late switch and switch that pick and roll to give his teammates some help. He's not going to sit by and allow Joe Johnson to just beat him by himself. He's going to force Joe Johnson to try to find Allen Anderson or Al Jefferson. Here it is again. They're getting Al Jefferson involved in the pick and roll.
Sanders, no. Bobbled. Another chance. Abdul Rauf drills it. Three-pointer from Mahmoud. 13-point lead for the three-headed monsters.
That was all on Larry Sanders. You know, on the highlights, you'll see Mahmoud, you know, having success on that three, but it was created by Larry Sanders' offensive rebound in his hustle.
Johnson's.
They should have called that an offensive foul. Maybe that's what they're going to. Sure if that's ice or a heating pad on his left ankle.
Abdul Rauf, three-pointer, drops it in over Joe Johnson, turning back the clock. Largest lead for the three-headed monsters.
Yeah, yes, if you can't play physical in the Big Three, this is not the league. I've been affected so much by the physicality in the Big Three, Ed. I've hired a trainer, and I'm back in the weight room lifting weights like I did when I was playing in the NBA.
You've looked a lot more toned from the beginning of the season until now. It's been just 7 weeks.
Appreciate it. You can feel it, Ed, the way I'm elbowing you here on the sideline.
That just hurt. I'm trying to see the mic to you. ISO Joe against Al Thornton. Spins, steps through, and he scores. He's got 20 once again.
Mario's gonna have to make a shot for him.
Behind the back, Johnson corner tray. Moon going to the line for a 2-point shot for the Triplets, who are within 10. All in for Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, Al Thornton.
Because then even if you miss, you can get offensive rebounds or potentially get to the free throw line.
Joe Johnson, no. Air ball, Moon blocked by Lewis. And a third opportunity, ISO Joe back out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was Mario Moon. Exceptional defense.
8-0 run, three-headed monsters ice cold. Like a chilly Milwaukee winter. And a foul as Evans came to set the screen. Allen Anderson is whistled once again.
Or start complaining to the officials on every call.
Yep.
Yeah, when you're undrafted, you just play with an edge.
Oh, he buries the three as he's knocked down, and it's a 1-point game.
I think he was fouled.
13-0 run. Chalmers hits it, and he is fouled, and he'll have a chance at a 4-point play. What a sequence in Milwaukee.
Mike is doing an amazing job here in the community, giving back, working with young people in the community. I think a lot of his kids are here attending the game today. And boy, they've seen two incredible offensive plays.
Lewis, the block shot, turns and scores. Three-headed monsters were up against it. Triplets went on a 13-0 run, and all of a sudden, the 6-0 run to respond.
It's impressive the way the three-headed monsters, now they've got their confidence back. A couple of easy baskets.
Moon, nice body control against Rashard Lewis. You just get the sense a 5-point cushion is nothing in this game.
No. You're never really out of the game.
Lewis over Joe Johnson. He comes in, back-to-back buckets.
And he didn't start the second half. Maybe Gary Payton thought I needed to give him a little bit of a blower. He liked the team that he had in there.
Moon set up by Joe Johnson and a much-needed three.
What an offensive exhibition that these guys are putting on.
46-41.
They are definitely giving the fans their money's worth. They're shooting the ball extremely well, playing with a lot of passion and desire.
Chalmers reverse, no. Moon cleaning it up, and the Triplets are within 3. Timeout, Gary Payton. 20-9 run overall. Mahmoud lost the ball, but he's fouled.
You want to control what you can control.
Like a veteran, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf steps up Reason why he led the NBA in free throw percentage twice.
This would be such an amazing win if the three-headed monsters can pull this off.
Point game. Joe Johnson for Moon for three. Anderson kept it alive.
Joe's open.
Anderson hits it against Mahmoud. 2-point game.
We thought game one was going to go down to the wire, but the triplets and the three-headed monsters are putting on a show.
Lisa Leslie basically ran into the plate to call timeout. Her team down 2.
Yeah, smart timeout here so she can get our defense set. Alan Anderson, it was close. I thought he got fouled on it, but he didn't get fouled.
Point game for Gary Payton's club. Out of the timeout with Lewis, Evans, Mahmoud, Abdul-Rauf. The triplets need a stop.
Yeah, look for them to go to Rashard Lewis.
Posting up Anderson. Lewis looking for space. Flings it up. Short. Ball's loose. Moon saves it.
Yeah, Lewis wanted the referees to try to bail him out. He didn't get 2 hands on the ball.
They can win it with a 4-point shot. Johnson wants it for the win. He's got it! ISO Joe! Wow! The triplets have won it in Milwaukee.
Step back, going left, out of bounds. 4-point shot. Got me out of my seat, Ed.
ISO Joe's the song of the summer, baby.
Do you think Lisa Leslie drew that up in the timeout?
You thought maybe, and then this.
ISO Joe, he had, a smaller defender on him, Mahmoud. He knew he can get his shot off, made an incredible shot. Wow, what an elite shot.
Cube, what do you say? The beauty of the big 3, you're down by 2. Greatness from the MVP frontrunner. Ball game.
Boy, I wouldn't want to be in the locker room if I'm Gary Payton's team. He's not happy right now.
It's a big one for both sides. The Ghost Ballers and Red Hot Trilogy here from South Florida. Trilogy and White were underway. Game number 3. Hawkins, Simono Samuels, James White. And here's White, first touch, hits the 3, hit the game-winning 3 last weekend in Milwaukee.
And sometimes that's the worst thing that can happen when you shoot an air ball, because you don't really give your team a chance to get an offense.
It's the three-headed monsters taking on the top seed in the league, the triplets. The glove, Gary Payton leads the three-headed monster. He said, this is probably the best team I've had, and I expect the championship as Joe knocks down the 3.
And that's what makes Joe so tough, because you can't go to sleep on him anywhere. Whether we're talking about from the 3-point line, the 4-point line, mid-range, posting up, he can do it all.
Here's Rashard Lewis going at Anthony Anderson. Backs him down and draws a foul. Knocks down the free throws. 3-2 our score. The first time these two teams met in week 7, it surprised the triplets. They put Reggie Evans on Joe Johnson, a bigger guy, stronger guy. They thought it was going to be Rashard Lewis, and it kind of threw off.
Jamario Moon, he can score as well, but he is not as good of a jump shooter, so that might allow the three-headed monster to show a little bit more attention to Joe Johnson.
Reggie Evans knocks it down in the lane, 1-point lead. Jamario Moon cuts to the basket. And he knocks down the free throws. Here's Joe Johnson. Inside to Al Jefferson. Good ball faking, he lays it in. Here's Chalmers.
They're coming right back to it. They got the switch they want.
The 3. Yes. Dario Chalmers.
Don't get tired of success. The next time you get the ball, run that same play again. Because when Al tried to come up on the screen, Mario blew by him. When Al sagged back, Mario hit the shot. Force Al Jefferson to guard, force him to defend.
The kick out to Jefferson. The corner 3, no. Here's Chalmers again. Fakes the pass, pulls up, got it, Chalmers.
Chalmers is cooking right now.
He's got 5, had a season high and team high 19 last week for the Monsters. Here's ISO Joe. Pulls up on Reggie. Short, but the foul on Reggie Evans. And here's this season's MVP.
And Larry Saunders, this presents an interesting challenge because in the first matchup, he played excellent defense on Joe Johnson. So when they run a screen and roll and they switch it, Larry Saunders is one of those guys. He's long, he's lean, he's athletic. He could present a couple of problems for ISO Joe.
Mario Moon. Joe.
And this is the matchup we were talking about. Larry Saunders playing great defense against Joe the first time.
That floater is deadly.
And that's what a great scorer does. Happy, definitely just happy for that. Coutinho did something he wanted to talk to him. You can really pick up those fouls.
Will inbound. Here's Moon. He'll pull it. Got it. Mario Moon knocks down the 3. He's got 5 points. Lead is 3. Here's Rio. Thought about the 4. The Sanders. He dunks it home.
Great pass by Mario Chalmers. Saunders looking to set a nice, good screen right there, roll to the basket.
Here's Rashard Lewis. Ball fake, lays it in.
Excellent fake. And it's clear to see that right now the three-headed Monsters, what they really want to do is they want to run a lot of pick and roll, and they want to extend Rashard Lewis and find a way and basically spread that court out so it makes it very hard for the Triplets to defend them.
1 point lead. Joe Johnson. Ball fake. Here's Johnson now. Working on Sanders. Spins. Fades. Got it. Joe Johnson.
And that's what you do when you're a professional scorer. He understands that Sanders is long and athletic, right? So he can stay with him on the perimeter. So then he just takes him inside, gives him a little bit of a shoulder, a little bit of an elbow, knock him off balance so he can get his jump shot off. Joe is always patient when it comes to executing on the offensive end. He's never in a hurry.
Chalmers drove the lane, missed it. Here's Anderson.
The three-headed Monsters do when they get the ball. Will they go right back?
Carney for 3. Yes!
And I got my answer. I wanted to see, hey, what were the three-headed Monsters going to do? Are they going to continue to exploit Al Jefferson in the pick and roll? Obviously, Gary Payton, one of the better point guards to ever play in the game, has coached his team up to really take advantage of the fact that Al is excellent offensively, not really known for his defense, and they are exploiting that fact tonight.
Here's Carney again, another 3. Missed it wide, just signed this week for the three-headed Monsters. Evans with 4 on the shot clock. Yes! Oh, here comes the Monsters now as we're all tied up at 22.
And both these teams have come to play. No back down. Both these teams executing, playing hard, playing the right way, unselfishly.
Joe with the rock.
And I like the challenge right there by Rashard Lewis. He's not letting Joe get comfortable.
That's and another reach in by Rashard Lewis with 2 on the shot clock in the last 2 weeks. They're the 4 seed, Triplets the 1 seed. The winner takes on the killer 3s. And the Triplets are now just a point away, a bucket away from the half. Joe for 3, too strong.
Great hustle there by Anderson, keeping that ball alive.
Here Allen Anderson will pull up. That one is short. Reggie Evans snags the board for the Monsters.
Reggie wants to go to work. Reggie feels like he has an advantage inside against Joe right here.
He kicks it out to Sanders. 2 on the shot clock. He's got to get it up. It's Carney.
And this is an interesting lineup for the three-headed Monster because, oh, watch out.
And he got it.
Championship run.
I thought it was interesting. She said she had a conversation with Michael Cooper, who was her coach in the WNBA, and she thanked him for the way he coached their squad because Cooper's a guy who says, hey, I'm going to call a timeout, but tell me what you see.
Right.
I see different things, but you're playing, you're on the court, tell me what you see. And Lisa Leslie says she does the same thing with the Triplets.
Well, listen, anytime you're a player, you always love a coach that wants your input. because coaches know a lot, but they don't know everything. And sometimes a player, and I've seen this with great players I've played with, I've been in the huddle where LeBron James can walk up to the coach like, listen, they've been playing it like this, we need to make an adjustment. Or in Dallas when I played with Jason Kidd, he would go to Rick Carlisle all the time and be like, hey, this is what I see. Let's try to exploit them the next time out. And players understand that, understand and love when coaches listen to their input.
Here's Rashard Lewis. Sweet Lou driving to the rack. Lead is just 2 now. Here's Joe Johnson. Baseline.
Oh.
And hacked at the rim by Lewis. Right now. Make it 15. Reggie Evans all on Joe. Stolen by Rashard Lewis. Knocked away from Reggie Evans. And Allen Anderson will go to the line.
He's been a guy that's always been able to get steals, swipe down at the basketball. Joe's got a size advantage on Mike Moore. He can get his jumper off right now anytime he wants to.
Drops it off.
Oh!
Jefferson.
Okay, Big Al.
Rocks the rim. He's got 8. The lead is 8.
But he's grabbing his back now. I think he might have, hope he didn't hurt himself on that play. But Al showing, you see him grabbing it back a little bit, but Al showed extreme explosion right here. Joe with the excellent pass, and Al just coming out of nowhere, finishing with one hand. I love the unselfishness by Joe Johnson. Love the finish by Al Jefferson even better.
Joe Johnson leads the league in scoring and assists. Ooh. You saw why. Good steal. Al Jefferson again.
Well, his back can't be too hurt because he is dunking all around this gym.
The drive. Missed it. Anderson clears it for the Triplets. Here's Joe Johnson.
Time running out for Joe.
Drive, left hand, yes!
Wow.
17 for Joe.
You got to figure out a way.
Here's Joe. Backing down Chalmers. Fades. Got it. ISO Joe.
Joe cool.
He's got 19. And look at the look of desperation there on the face of Gary Payton.
Now you got the switch you want.
Rashard Lewis kisses it off the glass.
Offensively, I've been impressed with the three-headed monster. They've done a good job offensively. They look cohesive. But this has been the part of the court that's been a problem lately. It's been defensively. They haven't had any answers for Joe Johnson. Nobody really has in this league all year to ever play. But he is the best trash talker to ever play in the league.
Rashard Lewis inside to Reggie. He kisses it off the glass. Lead is 10 now.
And I've been impressed with Reggie Evans as far as when he gets in the lane, he's been decisive. He knows exactly what he wants to do with the ball. So I've been impressed with him from that aspect.
Here's Joe Johnson.
Great
ripped
steal
away
by Chalmers.
Great
steal by Chalmers. And that's what the three-headed monster have to do to get back in this game.
Chalmers. Over 11,000 have come out here to the Smoothie King Center as Joe Johnson, that floater. Oh, he's no average Joe.
How long have you been waiting to get that one off today?
All day.
You've been saving that one.
10-point lead. He's got scored the last 8 points for the Triplets. Rashard Lewis. That one comes out.
If I'm a three-headed monster, man, you know what, man? I might have to try something a little bit different.
That shot blocked. Reggie Evans lays it in.
I understand that Rashard Lewis had great defense right there. Put himself on that play.
Allen Anderson lays it in.
I think Jamari Moon just might have strained his hamstring a little bit or something.
Here's Chalmers. Step back three. Got
Boom.
it! As he falls into the lap of Jackson Hayes of the New Orleans Pelicans. He's got 14 is Chalmers.
Man, that young fella's going to be good too, man. He might have had the dunk of the summer league. I don't know if you saw it, but oh, man. He baptized somebody.
Here's Joe. Lost it. Evans. And Moon thought he got that one cleanly. And left it short. Here's Joe Johnson. Floater, no. And knocked away by Johnson. It'll be three-headed monsters basketball. Over 11,000 have come out here in New Orleans to watch the playoffs. Here's Reggie. Going to turn and face. Spin. Left hand, no. Allen Anderson for three. Yes!
Hello.
He's got 9. Triplets are now 3 points away from victory. Here's Rashard Lewis. Reverse, no. Reggie lost it going up. Now they put a Reggie Evans on Joe Johnson.
And Joe wants his ball.
3 points away from victory.
Will he step it back for 4 points like he did last time against the three-headed monster?
Here's Joe.
He's lulling him to sleep.
He's gonna pull it.
Good night. He lulled him to sleep. Good night.
He's no average Joe, and he's won it. Another game winner for Joe Johnson, and the Triplets will head to the championship game.
ISO Joe, Joe Cool, Joey Buckets, Joe Johnson, the professional scorer, rocks Reggie Evans right to sleep. And oh, kiss the baby, Joe Johnson. Dagger.
6 points. The game high score in the league MVP. Welcome to the Big 3 Championship on CBS Sports.
And against this Killer 3 team, you can't allow yourself to get down early and try to expend a lot of energy in the second half trying to get back.
There's Joe Johnson. And right away he goes to the cup and he's going to the line.
The ball is off, and that is goaltending because it's off the backboard first.
So basket's good for Joe Johnson. He's got 2, and he'll go to the line and shoot 1.
And I think when you have a scorer like Joe, and I think this goes back to why Killer 3s are a better team this year. If your teammates can make it easier on you to do your job, now you become more efficient. And that's what C.J. Watson and Franklin Sessions have done for Steven Jackson, where now he doesn't have to try to do everything.
Here's Captain Jack. Steven Jackson misses the 3. Anderson. Got it. 6-0 Triplets.
It's funny, pre-game early, Anderson was working specifically on those corner 3-point shots, and it paid dividends right there. They're able to knock that first one in.
That jumper's cash money by Josh Powell.
And that's the added benefit of having a C.J. Watson right there. Not only the ability to break down the defense, but then to make the right decision. Powell just was able to spot up right there and knock in that open jump shot.
Anderson drives, goes under the rim, lays it up and in. You talked about the importance of Allen Anderson. There you see it. C.J. Watson now with the rock. In the lane, yes. Powell working on Joe Johnson. Reversed it and missed it.
Yeah, but Joe pulled the chair out on Powell.
And the block by Steven Jackson.
It's going to be a matchup going back and forth all day.
Steven Jackson told me he's got the secret sauce when it comes to guarding Joe Johnson. He said, we're not double teaming him. I'm going to guard him.
Well, that's Jack, though. You know, I mean, he's played like that. He understands how to play Joe. Again, trying to guard somebody one-on-one is always difficult, but
Allen Anderson. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Speaking of which, how about the move on the baseline by Anderson?
He's got 7 of the Triplets' 10 points. Here's Steven Jackson now. Captain Jack, crossover, count it, and he'll go to the line.
Try to complete a 3-point play.
Lead is just 3 here for the Triplets. And expect Jackson and Johnson to go at it all afternoon long. Here's ISO Joe. Fades, got it. Joe Johnson. Well, who's a bigger legend here in LA than Big 3 co-founder Ice Cube? 2 years ago, got the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You saw the late iconic director John Singleton and rapper Dub C Help Cube with the unveiling. Karan Butler sitting courtside, along with the King, LeBron James. Trying to take over Taco Tuesday.
Getting himself ready and pumped up, for this championship game. And see Steven Jackson right there, how serious he takes this. I mean, he's been playing with an injured knee all year, okay? But his commitment, not just to the league, but to his teammates, is what's driven him to continue to play through that pain and yet still be effective, get his team to a championship game.
He's got ISO Joe. Johnson fades again. Missed that one. Anderson for three. In and out. Johnson off the glass.
This league has grown so much over the last 3 years. And it's
Steven Jackson.
Well, it's guys like that, Steven, that don't talk about it but be about it in regards to putting in the work, being available every game, practicing, doing all those little things from a leadership perspective that guys always talk about, and especially when you have a newly formed league, you need to have guys that are very dedicated to the game, and Steven Jackson is just that.
Here's Joe. Shakes, fades, got it. Oh, we going one-on-one. Stack and Joe. Again, they go inside to Joe. He missed it. Dante Green follows it up. Lead is just 2. Here's Joe Johnson now. Mario Moon. Just too tall.
Well, but also, too, because Allen Anderson knocked down a jump shot early, that time Dante Green, he couldn't leave Anderson to go inside even though it was a mismatch.
Jack tried the 3. Here's Joe. Got it! Joe Johnson's heating up. He's got 12. Joe is calling for it. Moon, the drive. Nothing. Nitty lays it in.
Height perspective.
Allen Anderson misses the jumper. Here's Steven Jackson. Stack 5. Dunks it home. Lead is just 3. And Jack has got 10.
It just hurts a little bit more when you come down after you jump.
Here's Jamario Moon for
Great
3.
defense.
That's short.
Great defense by Frank Nitty.
Steven Jackson lays it in. And now he and Joe Johnson. High scores with 12.
Well, and those are the little plays right there. Frank Letester's could have easily given up on that play, but because of the hustle, he was able to get a piece of it. As a result, Steven Jackson able to cash in on it.
Joe pulls, got it. You see him, he looked, he said, come on, let's go. 14 points now for Joe. He's the high scorer. Jackson attacks him, went by him, but lost it. And Joe lays it in. We go to the half. Joe Johnson's got 16. When he scores 20 or more, the triplets win. Here's Joe Johnson, 3, fade, got it. He's no average Joe.
Will allow Joe to get right into his shot.
Inside, Al Jefferson shot blocked. Josh Powell lays it up and in. Here's Joe. Green's got him. The drive. Oh, that's easy money. Joe Johnson. He's got 21 now. Lead is 8. Here's Steven Jackson. To Dante Green for 4. Moon. He'll go to the line.
Either for himself or for his teammates.
Knocks down the free throws. The lead is now 10. Again, first team to 50 wins this game. Moon played with the 3-headed Monsters last season. Drafted by the Ghost Ballers this season as C.J. Watson lays it in. 4 for C.J. 8-point lead for the Triplets. Triplets, one of the expansion teams of the Big 3 this year. One of the 4 new teams. Just one loss this season. Moon can't find the range from 3. Steven Jackson. Got it. Lead is just 5. Jack has got 17. Here's CJ Watson. High off the glass, make that a 7-0 run. And the lead is now just 3. CJ's got 6. Anderson. Kick out. Moon again from 3. Got that one. Let's check in with our Michael Rappaport. What you got, Rap?
All right, I'm down here with Meta World Peace. You're watching this game. Your former team, the Killer Threes, are out here. What do you make of this game, Meta?
It's a fun game, man. You know, had to support them. I wore my shorts today, too, my BIG3 shorts. So, I mean, Frank Sessions, what a hell of a story, you know?
And what do you played against Joe Johnson? How good is Joe Johnson?
Joe's great. Joe's always been really good. I mean, he can do everything. Handle, shoot, post up. I hope he get back in the league one day.
All right, well, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you at the BIG3 in State.
Hey, shout out to my hood, Queensbridge. What's really good? We in the building, 10th Street. What's up?
Queensbridge is in the house.
4-point lead for the Triplets. That's right. Meta World Peace, Ron Artest. He played with the Killer Threes last season. Here's Joe in the lane. Missed it. Dante Green. Pulls. Short. Inside, Jamar Moon. And that's why Joe Johnson also leads the league in assists. The Julius Erving Championship Trophy given out to the winner of this championship game. Snoop Dogg sitting courtside as CJ Watson misses that 3. As you can see, they reviewed a 3 from the Triplets. And so now the lead is just 6. Dante Green follows it up, powers it in. Oh, here's Joe. The drive, watch the floater, dips it off to Jamario Moon, and he'll go to the line. Make that 9. CJ, high, and nothing but net.
That's twice now with CJ. Saw him earlier, high off the backboard over a contested hand of Jamario Moon, and that one right there, another high arcing shot.
Joe Johnson got right past Josh Powell. Jackson lost it. Got it back. Attacks. And got it. Steven Jackson going hard to the cup. Here's Steven Jackson. He'll pull. Knock down both free throws. There's the shoes of the late, great Nipsey Hussle. Tribute to him. Joe working on Stack. 5 on the shot clock. Anderson.
Beautiful.
Good look. Moon missed it. Follow though. Stripped. Got it back. Missed it again. He'll go to the line.
They know how important it is,
Absolutely.
man.
Every point counts here, and he knocks those down.
Just didn't make the shot, but now you're in position again for the Triplets.
Wide open. A missed it. Got his own board. Fades. And gets the roll.
Again, championships are won not just by your key player or players, it's the other guys that kind of filled that void in the role, and that's what Allen Anderson is doing right now for the Triplets.
He's got 11. Joe working on Dante Green. Pulls. Got it! Joe Johnson. 25 for Joe. CJ Watson lost it off his foot. The Triplets can win it with a 3. And everyone in the building knows where the ball's going. Everyone's standing up here at the Staples Center. Joe Johnson going one-on-one with Stack.
Stack was not gonna let him get that shot. He was reaching from the beginning. Again, they're not in the penalty yet.
That was a reach-in, so it'll be side out of bounds.
Side out of bounds.
Even though they're in the bonus.
Yep.
Here. And Stack knocked that one out.
Yeah, Lisa
Leslie, she's going to call a timeout. She wants to talk about it. The coach of the year wants to design a play. She's made over 16 plays for this team. The Triplets, the expansion team of the league, looking to claim their first Big 3 championship.
And here's the decision you have to make if you're Charles Oakley in the killer threes. If Joe Johnson happens to get the ball in the middle or isolates, do you want to be able to press up on him, force him to take the 2 and not the 3? You know what I mean? You don't want to give up an open 3-point shot to end the game, give yourself a chance defensively. But Joe is so good at creating space once he gets the ball behind the 3-point line that I would crowd him a little bit more to force him to put it down, not give him a 3-point look.
Triplets on a 6-0 run. 7-1 on this season. Looking for the champion. Joe for the win. Got it! He's no ordinary Joe. The Triplets have won the Big 3 championship. Joe Johnson with 28 points. He's been the best player all season long. Lisa Leslie's been the best coach. The Triplets are the best team in the league. Your 2019 Big 3 champions.
Once again, yes, it's Joe Johnson that finished the deal, but again, out of the timeout, Lisa Leslie draws up a little simple pick play to free Joe Johnson to get open behind the 3-point line. A little miscommunication by Killer Threes. You give Joe too much space. As you know, and I know, we've seen it. He'll make you pay.
Triplets close Jim Jackson on a 9-0 run, capped by Joe Johnson in this 3.
Well, again, Dante Green not being up on the pick didn't allow Steven Jackson enough time to get back, and Stack didn't want to foul at that point. Wasn't able to contest the shot. Again, it's a simple play, but yet and still it's one of those effective plays drawn up in the timeout that make the case for why, again, Lisa Leslie was named Coach of the Year.
Over 30 family members and friends for Lisa Leslie, who grew up 15 minutes from Staples Center as LeBron James looks on. The Triplets claim the Big 3 championship.